welcome to Hideaway Homestead 2. So many people have asked questions, what do you plant this time of year in Central Florida, or we are in Zone 9B, bordering on 10A. They keep changing the zones on us. So anyway, what can we plant this time of year? It is the end of August, and tomorrow will be the 1st of September. So a lot of people in our area are starting to think, what can they put in the ground safely for their fall crops? We like to make sure that what we plant is at the best time. To produce this video, we decided we're going to go to the old journalism 101 is what you called it. The questions for journalism 101: who, what, when, where, why. So the first question
is who?
Who? So my answer to this, I'll answer this one because it's short. The answer to this is mostly Kevin and I will be doing the planting and transplanting. Every once in a while we choose to purchase a seedling from one of the big box stores or a local nursery. Things that take too long for us to grow from seed, or that we know we aren't good at growing from seed. A couple of things we will buy from there, but for the most part, it's Kevin and I doing the work.
That's it. We're the ones. Okay, the next thing is going to be the what?
All right, the what list is quite long. I've created a list of what we are planting, and in organization I put it in alphabetical order, so you can read some of these things. The beans and green beans, bush beans, and pole beans, we were able to get started with some of those last month in August. Still this month officially, I suppose. And then we do have some of those planted already. I'm hoping to put a lot more of those in the ground. Then we've got things like broccoli. We have found that broccoli likes to wait until the temperatures are lower. Our forecast for the next 2 weeks is for the highs to be in the low 90s still, and the lows in the mid 70s. That's really too hot for some things, and so we aren't planting those right now.
One of the things that we are planning to plant this year is going to be cucumbers. We had actually planted some, and I think we planted, what did you plant, Carol? Two varieties?
Three varieties.
Three varieties, and only one of them came up. So we had to replant the other two. So we're going to see what happens. We're hoping that they'll come up and do well. In the past, we've done pretty good with cucumbers. Been a couple of years that we didn't do so well. But for the most part,
one year was a killer crop. We were giving those babies away to anybody that we knew or didn't know.
Yeah.
Made a lot of friends.
yeah, we did. So anyway, but yeah, the cucumbers are going to be hopefully a good crop for us this year.
The next question is when. And I think that's what causes people a lot of trouble, not only the what, but especially the when. We've had some issues where, mostly me, jumped the gun and wanted to plant things too early. And some of the greens that I wanted to plant last month, get a head start on, they are just withering. They cannot handle this heat. They're just basically laying down on the dirt in the pots. So you don't want to be too early. And other things you can plant when the charts tell you that it's a good time, but that might not be good for your area, or it might not be good for this year. This has been a hotter year for us, and so that might be bad for that area, that timing, that schedule. So what are we planting now, and what are we waiting for?
Well, right now we have beans, bush beans in the ground, and we have lima beans in the ground. Yeah. And we have zipper cream peas.
Those are good for most of the summer, so that's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be something that's heat tolerant because it's so hot here in Florida. Like Carol was just saying, if it's too hot, they're just not going to grow. What else have we planted?
Well, we have loofah that is growing well for us. And the bees are starting to pollinate it. It makes us very happy when the bees pollinate our squashes. We have planted cucumbers. We have planted squash. We have planted some flowers like marigolds that will be pest deterrents. Yeah, that's a good thing. And so that's not really a vegetable, but it's helpful in the garden. Today we will transplant a lot of the cucumbers and put them in the ground, and we're going to put out romaine lettuce, but probably not at least till the end of the month, because any of the greens, most of them can't handle the heat. The exception to that is collards, and collards seem to tolerate heat a little bit more, and this perpetual spinach chard does better. Also, Swiss chard seems to be better than the other greens. So we're holding off for the broccoli.
One of the things I noticed the other day was that some of the potatoes have eyes on them now.
Yes, that we had bought from the store, so we're gonna put those in the ground. And it's not on a chart to plant potatoes this time of year here.
But if they're willing to grow, we're willing to put them in the ground.
We like those kinds of things. Of course, sweet potatoes have been going all summer long. But you need to look at your temperatures and check out some of the charts. The Florida IFAS, I think they are, the University of Florida, has a lot of good information there on their website, tell you when to plant certain crops or when to transplant. So look at a chart like that. The other one that I use a lot is Mary's Heirloom Seeds. And she has Florida broken down into 3 zones: North Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida. And that is very helpful, because just looking at statewide, there's a lot of variation in temperatures and climate, weather, all those kinds of things. So be careful about when you plant things, but we'll show you what we're planting these days, and then when we go to do some of the greens later on, when it cools off a little bit, then we'll take you along for that too.
Okay, next on our list is going to be the where. Where are we going to put this stuff? Carol likes to plant seeds, and when she plants seeds, she plants a lot of seeds, which is fine because we've got lots of places around here to put stuff. So some of the places we're talking about putting things, we have a high tunnel, of course, as you probably know. We have a garden next to the high tunnel.
It's fenced.
It's fenced, yeah, we had to fence that.
That keeps animals out, so that's good.
Had to fence that to keep the deer from getting into it, because they'll just jump in there and eat everything out there. We have other places. What do we have?
Well, we have the West Garden, we call it. That was the former pig area, and they tilled it all up for us, and so we're making use of that.
Yes, so we've got stuff down there.
Those will be long rows with landscape fabric in between them.
For a walkway.
For walkways,
And then, of course, we've got little pots, like one gallon pots, 3 gallon pots. We do a lot of different things.
And then larger, like half barrel size pots. We have several of those. And then we've got our raised beds that we just built. Right,
raised beds. So we've got lots of different places to plant stuff.
And also we can plant up and vertical. So several things are vining, and like the loofah, the tromboncino squash, the Seminole pumpkins like to go up, but we prefer them to be on the ground sometimes, because then they can root back in. And our cucumbers, we're going to put on a trellis. And and we're also going to plant some pole beans that will be trellised.
So got lots of stuff to go.
The where also takes into account the soil quality, and so we are really working to enrich our soil this year. The things that we put in the raised beds, we have such better control over the soil quality there. We have horrible sand here in Florida.
We have sand. We don't have any we don't have any kind of soil that you can really grow stuff in.
Not a lot of nutrients in it.
The weeds do quite well, but when we plant stuff in there to eat, it just doesn't want to grow. So we have to really enrich the soil, like Carol was saying, put a lot of stuff in there to give it something to get nutrition from. And as well as hold the water. Because the sand here, when you wet it, it just goes right down and it's gone. So
Yeah. So there's some of the where. We might experiment with some of those things this year again to see what location works best
Yeah.
to have the best productivity, best light, best temperature, best soil. We're all looking for the most successful place for this year.
Yes.
The last question from Journalism 101 is the why. So this sometimes, a why question is a hard question.
Yeah, it is.
So why?
Why? Why? One of the probably the best why would be because we like to eat.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one.
We like to eat. We like to grow our own food and have stuff that's good nutrition, that we know what went into it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the times the stuff you get from the stores, you don't know what it's been sprayed with.
Yeah.
If we're talking about vegetables, and what's on it, kind of thing. And so we like to know what went into what we put in our bodies.
Where it comes from. We also want to practice now for gardening. Gardening is not something that you pick up in September and are successful with.
Right.
Usually that first season, because it takes a while to learn your conditions and
Yes.
when to plant and what to plant and where and all those kinds of questions.
Yes.
And so you just can't plan that, well, if we have an emergency, we'll just start gardening. It takes a while for it to grow, and
Right.
every year we learn something. So that's another reason why to do it.
Yes.
We like to be as self-sustaining as possible on our homestead, and so that means we have to have food growing to
Yes.
sustain us. And we enjoy it. It's good exercise. It's good mentally.
Yes. If you like being outside.
Yeah.
We love being outside in the open outdoors. It's
The
just-
cooler, the better.
yeah, right now it's not very cool.
That's my comment. But yes, we enjoy it, but it's good for us. It takes my mind off of business life for the rest of the week.
Yes.
Many, many whys. We almost feel that this is a calling that we have,
Yeah.
and also that we can learn and be able to share our produce and also share our knowledge. So lots of whys.
Yes.
So who, what, when, where, why. I hope this gives you a little perspective of where we're coming from on our homestead for our fall planting, and you can get some ideas for wherever you are. Check out your local growing conditions for your zone
Yes.
and see how they differ. A lot of people are pulling up all of their crops right now in northern places, and we're
Right.
just trying to get ours in the ground. So it varies across the country, but especially if you're in this area, this is a good time to get things in the ground.
Yes. So leave us a comment. Tell us if you've grown stuff, if you're growing stuff right now. Tell us what works, what
Yeah.
doesn't. We always learn from other people as well.
That's for sure.
So yeah, if you've got any information you can pass along to us, we welcome that. And also, if you can leave a comment, it helps other people who read those comments
Right.
to know
Yeah, they can
what
learn
they
from
can
your
do.
situation.
They can learn
yeah.
too. So yeah, we all learn from each other.
Yeah. So subscribe. This is a new channel, Hideaway Homestead 2.
Yes.
If you were subscribed before, you're not subscribed to us anymore. So please subscribe and give us a thumbs up and come back often. We're planning to post on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays every week. And so far,
we're doing it.
we're doing it. So that'll give you something to know when to start looking for videos.
Yes. Okay, so till next time, thanks for joining us here on Hideaway Homestead
2.
2.